Buying a house with any of these 10 features could be the most expensive you make in this market. I remember walking a bungalow in the East End 3 years ago with a couple who were ready to buy. 3 bedrooms, big backyard, under $900,000. They loved it. But I pointed out 3 of the features I'm about to show you and told them to pass. They listened. Some other couple bought it. I saw the same house come up on the market a few months ago. It sat for 67 days and sold for $64,000 less than what they paid. The problem wasn't the market. The market was fine. The problem was the house itself. Certain features in Toronto homes create permanent objections that no staging, no pricing strategy, and no marketing can fix. Buyers see them and they walk. I'm going to show you all 10 so you know exactly what to look for before you write an offer. Number 1, knob and tube wiring. This is the single biggest deal killer in Toronto's older housing stock. If you're looking at any homes built before 1950, and that covers a huge portion of the East and West End value pockets, there's real chance it still has a little bit of knob and tube. And here's why it matters. Most insurance companies in Ontario would not write a policy on a home with active knob and tube. No insurance means no mortgage. And the cost to rewire a typical Toronto bungalow runs about $8,000 to $15,000. And that's not the end of the world. But the issue is perception. If you're buying and the inspection flags knob and tube, get a rewiring quote before you finalize your offer. Factor that into your price. Do not assume you'll deal with it later. Number 2, low basement ceilings. This is everywhere in Toronto. The 1950s and 1960s bungalows that make up most of the housing stock in neighborhoods like Birchcliff, Wexford, Mount Dennis, and Keelsdale were built with basement ceiling heights of 6 feet or 6 feet 2. That was standard at the time. Nobody was finishing basements. To make that a basement apartment per se, you need at least to be a little bit taller than that. It's about 6 feet 5 inches. If your basement is under that, you can't build a legal second suite. That means you can't rent it out. You cannot count on it as a living space on your listing. That matters because a legal basement apartment in Toronto generates about $800 to probably $1,500 a month in rental income. And over 5 years, that could be up to almost $80,000. A house without that option is worth meaningfully less than one that with it, assuming the buyer wants one. The fix is underpinning. That means excavating the basement floor to lower it. Cost, it's not cheap, but $50,000 to maybe $100,000, depending on the size and the soil condition. And most buyers are not doing that. They're just moving on to the next house. I'll tell you, I walk basements every week where I have to duck. The ceiling is that low and I'm not even that tall. And every time I watch the buyer's face change, they know what it means. Number 3, shared driveways. This one is uniquely Toronto. You have never seen a mutual drive? Here's how it works. 2 houses share a single driveway that runs down the property line. Each owner has a legal right to use their half. The driveway is maybe 10 to 12 feet wide total. Your car is on your side, your neighbor's car is on theirs. And sometimes you use that mutual drive to get to the back of the house. And that's where you could park. In practice, mutual drives are a source of constant friction. Your neighbor parks too far over. Snow removal becomes a negotiation. One side wants to repave, the other does not. And if the relationship goes bad, you're stuck. You cannot widen it. You cannot move it. Buyers know this. Real estate lawyers know this. When the listing says mutual drive, percentage of buyers will not even book a showing. It's not a deal breaker for everyone, but it limits your buyer pool. And limited demand means sometimes a lower price. If you're looking at a house with mutual drive, make sure you check the survey. Make sure the line is where you think it is and talk to the neighbor before you close. That 5-minute conversation can save you years of frustrations. Number 4, backing onto a rail corridor or a major road. Toronto has GO train lines, freight rail, the Gardner Expressway, DVP, and the 401 cutting through residential neighborhoods everywhere. So a lot of the homes that I see, usually in the sweet spot for move-up buyers, sit near one of these corridors. The price is lower for a reason. You stand in the backyard and you hear the train, your future buyer will hear the train. And you see headlights from the highway at night, your future buyers want to see those as well. The noise, the vibration on freight lines, the lack of privacy, these are permanent. You cannot build a fence high enough. You cannot plant trees fast enough. I have a list of homes that back onto Lakeshore, the Gold Line, beautiful houses, renovated kitchens, new bathrooms, great curb appeal. And they sat for many, many days compared to the counterparts that were not backing onto those same things. This discount sometimes 5 to 10% of the price and shows up almost every single time. Traffic and rail patterns, they don't improve over time. If anything, GO service is expanding, more trains, more frequently. Your backyard should feel like a retreat, not a transit corridor. Number 5, no garage and no private parking. In most Toronto neighborhoods, street parking requires a permit. Permits are limited. In winter, you're digging your car out of a snowbank on the street while your neighbor pulls out of their attached garage. It wears on people. Sometimes you drive around the block 20 times trying to find a spot. A garage in Toronto adds meaningful value to a property, not just as parking, but also as storage. These older homes have small closets, no mudrooms, and no real storage space. The garage fills that gap. Homes without any private parking sits longer on the market. Young families rule them out because of car seats in the rain, groceries in the snow. Older buyers rule them out because of mobility. Investors rule them out because tenants want parking. I'm just shy of 900 subs. So if you find this helpful, please subscribe so I can keep on making videos just like this. Number 6, backing onto hydro lines. Toronto has major hydro corridor running through residential neighborhoods across the city. Gatineau corridor through Midtown. The Finch corridor. Lines coming through Scarborough, Etobicoke, and North York. Homes that back directly onto these easements sit under transmission towers and high voltage lines. The issue is perception. Buyers sees the towers and think health risks or eyesore. Whether science is subtle or not, that doesn't matter. The perception drives people away. I've seen homes where everything inside was perfect. New kitchen, finished basement, great layout. Then you walk into the backyard, there's a steel tower 30 feet away humming at you. Buyer's done. These homes consistently sell for less comparable properties 1 to 2 streets over. The discount is baked in and does not go away. If you're buying near a hydro corridor, stand in the backyard, listen for the hum, look straight up. You can see the lines. Your future buyers can see them too. Number 7, galvanized steel plumbing. These are the original water pipes in homes built before 1960. They look fine from the outside, but galvanized steel corrodes from the inside out. Over decades, mineral deposit build up inside these pipes until the opening is the size of a pencil. Water pressure drops. The shower runs at a trickle. 2 taps running at once and you lose pressure completely. And this is not a cosmetic issue. It affects daily life. And buyers notice it immediately during showings. They turn on the kitchen tap and bathroom sink and the pressure drops. That is the moment you lose them. So replacing galvanized plumbing with copper or PEX runs $15,000 to $20,000 depending on the size of the house and how accessible the pipes are. Buyers get the inspection report, see galvanized steel throughout, and they either renegotiate hard or they walk. Number 8, a single bathroom in the whole house. This is extremely common in post-war bungalows across Toronto. 1 bathroom on the main floor. Sometimes no roughed-in plumbing in the basement for a second one. When the house was originally built for a family of 3 in 1955, 1 bathroom was standard. Today, it's a deal breaker for most families. A family of 4 sharing 1 bathroom is manageable when the kids are small. When they are teenagers, it becomes a daily source of stress. Buyers with 2 or more kids will cross a 1 bathroom house off the list before they even book a showing. So adding a second bathroom in the basement costs about $15,000 to $25,000 if the plumbing is already roughed in. If it's not, you're looking a lot more. It could go up to 30 or plus, depending on how the piping has to be moved. Before you buy a 1 bathroom house, check the basement. Look for a capped drain pipe in the floor. That's a roughed in plumbing. It means someone planned for a future bathroom. If it's there, the cost to finish it drops significantly. If it's not, factor in the full cost before making an offer. Number 9, a buried oil tank. Before natural gas became standard in Toronto, a lot of homes were heated with oil. The oil was stored in a tank, sometimes in the basement, sometimes buried in the yard. When the homeowner switched to gas, they often just left the tank in the ground. Out of sight, out of mind. The problem is that buried steel tanks, they corrode over time. Then oil leaks into the soil. The soil contamination is now your liability as a property owner, not the previous owner, not the city, yours. The cost to remove a buried oil tank and remediate contaminated soils range from $10,000 to $30,000, if not more. If the contamination has reached the water table or spread to a neighbor's property, the number can go way higher. I have heard cases north of $100,000. Here's what makes this one particularly dangerous. A buried oil tank does not always show up in a standard home inspection. Inspector checks what is visible. A tank that's buried 3 feet underground with no surface markers can go undetected until you start digging for a renovation or a real estate lawyer flags it in an environmental search. So if you're buying a home built before 1960, ask the seller directly whether there was an oil tank on the property. Check the basement for capped oil lines and consider an environmental site assessment before you close. or even before you make an offer. A few $100s for that assessment can save you thousands. Number 10, heritage designation. Toronto has over 12,000 properties on the Heritage Register. Some are fully designated under Ontario Heritage Act. Others are listed, which gives the city the right to delay a demolition permit for up to 60 days. Either way, heritage status affects what you can do with the property. If your home is designated, you cannot change the exterior without the approval of the city's Heritage Committee. That means the windows, the brickwork, the roofline, the porch, all of it requires review. Timelines for approval run to months, not weeks. More importantly, you cannot tear it down and rebuild. In a market where buyers are paying over $1 million for a lot with a 70-year-old bungalow, a lot of the value is in the land. Heritage designation removes the tear down option entirely. I've seen heritage designated properties sit 30 to 40% longer than comparable non-designated homes. The buyer pool shrinks because developers and builders are not bidding. The only buyers left are people who want to live in the existing house, and that's a smaller group willing to pay less. If you plan to renovate extensively or eventually rebuild, check the City of Toronto's Heritage Register before you make an offer. It takes a couple of minutes, and that search could save you years of committee hearings. None of these features makes a house unsellable, but every single one of them costs you money when it comes time to resell. This discount shows up in days on market, and it shows up in the price. The best time to think about resale is before you buy. Walk the basement, check the wiring, look at the driveway. Stand in the backyard and listen. Ask the questions now, because once you own it, these features are yours. Thanks again for watching. See you soon.